After that gosh darn gorgeous Nintendo Direct, after they said, hey, we got tons of games, we got Metroid Prime 4, we got Mario Party, we got Zelda and Zelda, why does Nintendo have to go and sully the pot? Why do they gotta go and screw it up? And why do they have to go and make me tell you not to buy Switch games? Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. This is so bizarre, but I'm kind of fed up with it at this point, and I don't think it's wrong to speak my mind and tell you what I would recommend as we move through 2024. What am I talking about? We'll get to that in a second. What's going on, guys and girls? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hit that like button if you enjoy these videos and enjoy honest truth, because that's what I'm about to spit your way in just a moment here. First off, I'll let you know that Nintendo World Championships got previews today, and people think the game is super cool and addictive, which is awesome, because Nintendo has priced that game at $30. This proves Nintendo knows what they're doing. Nintendo World Championships comes out July 18th. That's a few weeks away. It looks like it's going to be super fun, a great multiplayer time, and even though it is a new cartridge, it's a repackaging of content, and so they're pricing it appropriately. But they don't do that when they don't want to. A bunch of Nintendo Switch games finally got pre-order pages from the Nintendo Direct, and one of them is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Guess what price it is? 60 big ones. The same price as Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. $60. The same price as Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which was also $60. But there lies the problem. There lies the problem, because these things are not the same. One of these things is not like the other, and the one that's not like the other is actually Tropical Freeze. Now, as we dive into this $60 amalgamation crazy overcharge issue, let's bring up the elephant in the room, which is Metroid Prime Remastered. I have pointed out many times that it's silly that Metroid Prime Remastered had a ton of work invested into it and was $40, and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD didn't really have a ton of work invested in it, actually cost $40 when it came out, but now is $60, and it doesn't math. The math isn't mathing, but actually the math is mathing, and it's proven by today's reveal that Donkey Kong Country Returns HD is the full $60. Nintendo only gives a discount when they don't think the IP, the franchise, or the game itself can sell for full price. They believe in Luigi, they believe in Donkey Kong, and got a lot of faith in our girl Samus. And that's fine. Nintendo, it's their prerogative which franchises they value, how they decide to price them, of course, but it's also our prerogative to decide not to support Nintendo's moves. Enter Donkey Kong Country Returns, $60. That game, its big claim to fame is that it's in HD, and it includes the 3DS levels. Do you know how much that game cost on 3DS? Less than the Wii version. The MSRP of Donkey Kong Country Returns, which included the 3DS levels, on the 3DS version, was $39.99. This game was $39.99 when it released with its extra content, and now will be $60 in 2025, many moons later. But are they adding new things to this game? Almost assuredly not. Why? Because we have history to back it up. Nintendo started out the generation bringing in new content to their ported titles. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze got Funky Mode, a whole new character, and a new way to play that was more accessible, and opened up a pretty challenging platformer to a wider spread audience. Enter Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which brought in some Mario Odyssey levels and showed that, hey, they're still working on developing new things for this game and making it the best version it can possibly be. Now, many years later, we are in an era where it seems like Nintendo is just phoning it in. And previously, before the Direct, I thought, you know what? Nintendo's got a pretty slow year. They might just be coasting. I expect them to release a few more remakes. So they're going to charge full price for Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. They need to get their value. They need to get their moolah. Not the case. Nintendo's recent June Direct proved that Nintendo has a plentiful lineup for the second half of 2024. So plentiful that they don't even need to release Donkey Kong Country Returns HD until 2025. And here is where it just gets so egregious. Nintendo wants you to spend $60 on Mario & Luigi Brothership, a brand new entry in the Mario & Luigi series. They want you to spend $60 on Mario Party Jamboree, the best, boldest Mario Party, as they self-proclaimed during that intro trailer. They want you to spend $60 on The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and frankly, I feel great about all those purchases. Nintendo is actually coming in under the competition because their console comes in under the competition as well. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X games are usually $70. Those games cost way more to develop, and those games are requiring, utilizing, and employing far superior hardware. So go off, Nintendo, give us a little bit of a discount, charge us $60 for your brand new games. But how on earth does it make any sense that this same price should apply to Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, a Wii game, then went to 3DS and cut off at least $10 off its MSRP, and now is bouncing to Switch and adding $20 because it's on Switch and because it's HDified? Luigi's Mansion 2 looks nice on Switch, don't get me wrong. The videos show the differences, they made it crisper. It sure don't look like Luigi's Mansion 3. This is not an inherent brand new Switch game, nor is it looking as good as its Switch counterpart, because we have direct evidence between LM3 and LM2. Same is going to go for Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Country Returns is not going to look anywhere near as good as the brand new Donkey Kong that hopefully one day, fingers crossed, eventually comes out on Switch. Nintendo knows that they are cheaping out, but they are still delivering a full retail price because the characters are that darn popular. Nintendo has experimented with multiple price tiers. They've sold WarioWare games for $50. They're selling NES World Championships for $30. They can do this. They can go lower. There's not a company-wide stipulation that Switch games from the first party must be full retail price. They just know how to press our buttons. And so I think, frankly, we should skip Luigi's Mansion 2. And we should skip Donkey Kong Country Returns HD until Nintendo does one of two things: lower the price or add the content back in. At the beginning of the generation, they were leveraging a higher price point with, hey, it's a deluxe version, basically. We're bringing you new content. We're adding things to make this game the best version it possibly can be. No longer. Now they have kind of weaseled their way into charging full price without really adding anything at all, and I think that sucks. And I think Nintendo knows they can get away with it. But I have heard the tide turning. Luigi's Mansion 2 is a highly revered game in the franchise, a fun one. And even though the reviews were mostly complimentary of the gameplay, they didn't like that there wasn't really any significant upgrades. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD sits around a 78, which is pretty low for a Nintendo first-party title, and everybody I see on the internet seems to be skipping it. None of the channels that I follow are covering Luigi's Mansion 2 in a considerable fashion, besides like, here's a graphics comparison, or here's a recap of the reviews. Nobody really seems to be that interested. And granted, maybe they're just not interested in Luigi's Mansion 2, but perhaps also the tide is turning. When Donkey Kong Country Returns HD comes out, not only did we get robbed of the chance at a new Donkey Kong game, but we're being asked to pay full price for a game that does not deserve to be full price at all. And I understand that we could just bring out the Metroid Prime comparison, but I'm going to now retire that comparison because I do believe Nintendo thinks that Samus just isn't worth $60. So now we're in a different kind of scenario. We are in a DK is powerful, Luigi and Mario is powerful. Basically, the Mushroom Kingdom reigns supreme. We can charge whatever we want. They're not modifying the controls as far as we know. They're not making things easier and better as far as we know. They're not adding new content as far as we know. If they go ahead and add a bunch of bonus things to DK HD, great. I will change my tune. But according to that direct trailer, what is different about this Donkey Kong Country Returns package is that it's HD, and that includes the 3DS levels that were included in a $39.99 version of the game. I just think we should skip these. I think as we move into the next era for Nintendo Switch, they're going to charge $70 for their games. Mario 3D on Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be $70. The next 3D Zelda is going to be $70. I bet the next Pokemon game is $70. This is our chance, though, to say, hey, we don't want to pay $70 for a GameCube port or a Wii port that all you did was upres and HDify. If it's going to be Mario and the Thousand Year Door, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, and you do it all real nice, almost remake style, fine. I think that is much more respectable and much more worth the full price value. If you're going to completely convert something like Mario RPG, where it goes from looking like an ancient title on SNES, fine, more worth the value. But if you're just going to upres a 3DS port, and you're just going to give the exact same content that that 3DS $39.99 version had, at least give us a $50 price. At least give us a $10 discount. Don't go in here asking us to pay $60 for something that surely should not cost that. Or spend a little bit more development effort and energy and add additional content to make a bargain with us. Hey, you pay $60, but we'll give you new content. You pay $60, but we'll upgrade this game to the best version possible. I don't think that's an unfair request, and I think that's absolutely the way it should be. Either these games need to go down in price, or these games need to add more content, and I'm kind of just over it. It was one thing with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, but now bringing in Donkey Kong Country Returns, two titles that sat on 3DS and now are being scooched onto Switch, with nothing for more, and literally like $20 more, 50% more, 150% price increase over their 3DS version. It's just silly. And we don't need to do this. There is room in Nintendo's ecosystem for budget-friendly games. There's room in Nintendo's ecosystem for B-tier pricing games or AA tier pricing games, however you want to word it. WarioWare proved it. Nintendo World Championships proves it. Nintendo can utilize those price points if they feel like they need to. And I think we need to let them know that they need to. And I think it's fine to skip out on buying Luigi's Mansion 2 and Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. It's fine. People bought Tropical Freeze and it didn't make them make a new Donkey Kong on Switch. Luigi's Mansion 3 sold like hotcakes. You don't have to worry. That franchise isn't going anywhere. These two games are skip-worthy because they're overpriced. They're not skip-worthy because they're bad. They're skip-worthy because it's kind of time to let Nintendo know that this shouldn't fly. It shouldn't fly when they have sold 140 plus million Nintendo Switch systems and they absolutely aren't hurting for money. It shouldn't fly when they provided more content earlier in the life cycle, and we know we have a direct comparison of how a Donkey Kong game should be brought to the Switch and what they should be adding or what kind of content they should bring in addition. It's evident by Luigi's Mansion 3 compared to Luigi's Mansion 2, which did not get a full redress. It did not get an upgrade at the same level as the already existing Switch game counterpart. These are quick and easy ports. These are games that they're trying to milk off of us because the characters they know hold a magical place in our hearts, and I think we skip them so that maybe next time when this comes around, when they're porting Switch games to Switch 2, or when they're porting Wii U games to Switch 2, maybe they don't try and take something that costs a lot less and sell it to us for a lot more. Let me know your take in the comments down below. Does this bother you? Does it not bother you? Are you okay paying $60 for Luigi's Mansion 2 HD with nothing really new, and for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD with nothing new? Or do you really think, yeah, these games should cost $40 or $50? Forget the Metroid Prime thing. Just look at what Nintendo did at the beginning of the generation and look at what these games cost on the 3DS. Let me know your take in the comments down below, everybody. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.